As we dive into today's episode on emotions and personality traits and how they contribute to chronic pain, I want to remind you of my course called Emotionally Fit, which is on sale right now. Emotionally Fit is a program that helps you to heal or at least get significant relief to your chronic sensations and pains by teaching you how to address your emotions and fully process them so that they no longer block your energy and cause you pain. The program also goes deep into your personality traits such as people-pleasing, perfectionism, conflict avoidance, pressuring yourself, and more, and shows you the connection between these traits and emotions such as fear, anger, shame, and anxiety, which are so commonly the causes for chronic pain. Emotionally Fit gives you the exact 4-step framework that you will need to start expressing your emotions in a healthy way, and it also teaches you how to work with these personality traits that often cause your low self-worth and lack of confidence, which in turn are responsible for these chronic sensations. If you sign up before Wednesday, November 6th at 11:59 p.m. Mountain Time, you will get 2 bonuses. Number 1, 15% off the price. Number 2, a PDF and a video guide with 3 very simple nervous system regulation practices that you can do whenever you feel anxious, overwhelmed, jittery, not grounded. These practices will get you calm, present, and grounded in a matter of minutes. The link to this course is added to the show notes, YouTube description, and you can also find it in my Instagram bio. If you already have the course, the 3 nervous system regulation practices are added to your course curriculum. Hey everybody, how are you doing today? This is Kirsten here, and thank you so much for joining me today for today's podcast episode where we're talking about anxiety, and we're also talking about what are the 2 things that you have to do in order to start resolving your anxiety, start having it less often, and as the frequency slows down, also the intensity of your anxiety slows down. So this is what we're going to discuss today, and why this is important. It is because if you're dealing with chronic sensations and pains and whatever the chronic health problems that you may have, and they don't have a true physical cause, nobody has been able to figure out what is wrong with you, the chances are very high that what you're dealing with is dysregulated nervous system and your brain is still constantly on high alert, and this is why you're having these sensations. And just like I talked about in episode 356, your anxiety is like gotten so high that now you're having these sensations. And to turn it around, put it the other way, your sensations and pains are just a result of unresolved anxiety or this constant anxious state in you. It's like these pains and problems you have that have become chronic are like your anxiety taken to the next level, because typically it starts out by something smaller. You feel like jittery, you feel anxious, you feel nervous, and this becomes your way of being. And after you have been this way for months and years, sometimes decades, something bigger happens, and then you end up with your chronic sensation or chronic sensations that are really now taking over your life. This is really how it progresses. And that's why it's so important that we deal with anxiety and don't treat that as a separate thing from our back pain or neck pain or fatigue or whatever it is, because it truly is all the same thing. It comes from the same source, and this source is dysregulated nervous system. Your nervous system is not balanced. It cannot bounce back from something that you perceive as dangerous. It just cannot bounce back from there. It stays on this dysregulated state, and as this state keeps going on and on and on, you are having more and more pain or more locations of pain or other chronic sensations. So we're going to talk about anxiety today, and what are the 2 things that we have to do in order to start feeling better, experiencing less anxiety. And I think it's already obvious that if we experience less anxiety, we also experience less of those chronic sensations that you probably are dealing with right now. And on this podcast today, we're also going to do a live demonstration of how to reduce anxiety through your body. And this is something that I did last week on Friday. on Instagram Live, and this was really good. People sent me really amazing feedback, so I thought that I will do it here as well, so you can kind of get a taste of it as well. And we'll get there in a minute. But first, let's talk just to briefly go over what does it feel like to have anxiety. And you probably know, but maybe you have had these sensations for a while that I'm going to mention now, and you have never put the pieces together and realized that, oh, this is anxiety. Because truly for myself, this is how it was. I knew for a long time that I've had like shaky hands all the time and this unsettled feeling, constant rushing around. Oh my God, this is just like story of my life. And I just didn't know that this was anxiety. I thought that I had depression because I definitely had moments of very low, slow, sluggish, I don't want to do anything type of phases. I've had those, but I didn't realize that these jitters and these other sensations were actually anxiety that were all leading up to this depression. So, what are then some of the signs of anxiety? Well, first of all, it's of course breathing, right? That tells us that something is off. So, if your breathing is very shallow and very fast, this is definitely one of the signs. The second one is faster than normal heart rate. So, if you feel like your heart wants to jump out of your chest, or if it feels so strong that sometimes you feel the heartbeat in your ears. I've had that several times. It gets so loud. It's like that somebody's like knocking on my head. That's what it can feel like. Another way how it can show up for people is dizziness. Then the very familiar one, I think, is the jittery feeling. It can be in some parts of the body. Most commonly it's arms and legs, but it can also be, of course, all over the body. And it can feel like buzzing. It can feel like tiny little electrical shocks. It can feel like waves. All these sensations are telling you that, yes, something is not okay and your nervous system is very dysregulated. Another sign of anxiety is that your mind is racing like 200 miles per hour or 500 miles per hour or however many miles per hour. In any case, it's going very, very fast, and you feel like it's just like a storm of thoughts. You can find yourself in this storm. It's just so many things to think about, and you don't know which way to run anymore. It's just way too much for you to handle. Another sign of anxiety is that you cannot think straight, right? First of all, you have so many thoughts already, and you're not able to find your way through these thoughts, but you also cannot think very, very clearly. Another very physical one is that your stomach is feeling like it's in knots, or your insides are twisting and turning, sometimes making weird noises, but this very intense bubbling or like butterfly feeling in the stomach is a very common one. You may feel very confused about your own emotions and all the turmoil they are creating in you. And overall, you may feel like you are trapped in this situation of like things are going so fast, you cannot keep up, you cannot like run anymore, you're dizzy, you're jittery, your heart is racing, it's just too much. So you may feel like I'm trapped in this and I just can't get out of this situation. Now, this might be pretty common theme for some of you or even many of you. But of course, there may be about a million or more other ways how anxiety can show up when it gets really intense. And now you can think about what happens logically, what might happen if you are spending your days, weeks, months, and years in this state that is very overactivated, and you don't know what to do about it, or you don't know that you should do anything about it, because if this is how you have always operated, you may not just even know that this is not actually normal to be this way. But when you are able to take a look at it objectively, like let's say now you know that this is not normal. What your normal is more a regulated nervous system that can come back to its baseline. Yes, sometimes it's up a little bit because you have a stressor. That is absolutely normal. You experience the stress and then you come down to your baseline level. But if you don't come down to your baseline level, or if you don't come down very often, then what could happen as a result of being so dysregulated and so anxious all the time? Well, here are some of the things, and I want to mention 5 here, but of course there might be more. Now, you might be feeling that no day is a good day, right? You're just like going through your days, it's just like, whatever, right? you don't find much fun, ease, joy in most of your days. The second one is this. Even if you do get the things done that you want to get done, you still feel just like blah about anything. Everything is just like this thick, gray mud feeling that you just can't get through. It's just like, oh, whatever. This is when you have experienced anxiety for a long time. Now you're just feeling like everything is kind of flat. The next thing is that things that used to bring you joy no longer do. Whatever the things used to be for you, hanging out with people or doing some crafting project or working out or dancing or whatever, right? Gardening. These things used to kind of light this spark in you before, and they don't do that anymore. Everything looks just like the same old, all day, every day. Another thing that's going to happen and how you're going to feel if you have this upregulated, super anxious state all the time is that you wake up every morning feeling like this is going to be a dread again. And you feel like, oh, here we go, another one of these days, without feeling much or any enthusiasm at all. And the last thing, you never truly experience these feelings of flow and ease. And you've heard people talk about like creative flow and a feeling flow, and I feel like I'm at ease and I'm moving through life with like grace and beauty. And you're like, oh, what? Like, what is that like? I have no clue what this is like, because after living so many years or months in this very hyperactivated state, all you know now is like you're just like flat. Everything's just blah, whatever, right? I don't care much. So this is what happens when we spend a lot of time in this super anxious state. And of course, when you understand how anxiety works, then these chronic pains and sensations are actually very logical continuations of this chronically elevated state. It's just another form of anxiety, like I mentioned before. And so what are the things that we have to then do? Because we want to get out of this, right? We don't want to be stuck in this anxious mode and feeling this so awful all the time and continue to have this chronic pain. Well, there are two things that we have to do, and we're going to get practical here. Like I said to you earlier, we're going to do a guided practice, but let me mention to you first what these two things are that we're going to talk about, and that are the things that get you out of that anxiety state. The first one is to move the anxiety through your body and let that out through your body. And this is the portion that we're going to do today. We're actually going to do this here in real time. And then the second one is this: heal the root causes of your anxiety. What are the things that are putting you on this high alert state all the time? And I did last week the live on my Instagram, and I just want to tell you, I want to share with you a couple of comments that I got after this live. And this live was all about releasing this anxiety through our bodies. And I think a lot of times people think that anxiety is just a mindset thing. It's a mind issue. But you can do so much to regulate this state through your body. And honestly, this is how I feel like where we should start. If the anxiety is so strong in you, you are probably not able to even tell yourself like, okay, calm down. You can try and say it all day long, but if you are super anxious, you are just not able to do this. Have you tried when you are super anxious and you're just, okay, calm down. Does it actually help you? And I have a better tool for you today. I want to, though, before we do this exercise, tell you what people said about this live where we did this physical expression of reducing anxiety. So here are some of the messages that I got, and there were more during that live, but of course I couldn't save those, but these were the ones that people sent me afterwards. Either they commented under that live or they sent me private messages. So one of them is, I loved it so much and I just did it again and I feel more calm. Thank you. Yeah, you can do it again. You can go to that live and repeat it. And this woman, she did it several times. Another comment, I'm feeling so calm and relaxed. Another one, this was so good. I just did it with you. I'm feeling tired and I had to yawn. Thank you, Kirsten. And by the way, if you want to yawn during this exercise that we're about to do, this is a really good sign that you are getting out of that anxious mode. You are activating something called parasympathetic side of your nervous system, which is the rest and digest mode. And we want to be there as often as we can if we want to heal our minds and our nervous systems and also reduce that pain. So if you're feeling like you're yawning, like this woman said, this is a very, very good sign. Another two signs are when you feel like you want to sigh, you want to go like, as we do these exercises, this is really good. And the third one is if you notice that you're more saliva in your mouth, you need to swallow more often. That also means that you're reaching that parasympathetic state. Okay, a couple more comments. Somebody said, I was feeling anxious about something tomorrow and now I'm feeling calmer. Yes, this was the goal. Another one, your live was great, thank you. And another one is, I really liked this. Somatics is so amazing. So somatics means basically bodily, right? So what we're going to do here is experiencing through our bodily sensations what it feels like to have this anxiety first and then release it through the body. So coming back to what we have right now, there are two things that we have to do in order to reduce our anxiety. The first one is in case of like intense anxiety, when you're right in the middle of it, then we're going to work on it through the body, because the mind is probably not listening no matter how you try to say I'm safe, which you know is my favorite air quotes here. It is not my favorite. It's never truly helped me. Telling me you're safe has never stopped any panic moments for me, or anxious moments for me. So we're going to do through the body this release, and then the second, then we're going to talk about what we can do through our minds to reduce these anxious episodes. Okay, so let's get started now. Now, this is the practical portion of today's episode, and we're going to bring to mind a situation that made you anxious recently. And I'm going to give you here a little bit of time. Don't pick anything that is like extreme, if you had anything extreme, but something that was mildly or moderately anxiety producing for you. And if you're feeling this way right now, that's actually very good, because we have something to work with. Okay, so now that you have brought to mind this situation, I want you to think about how's your breathing like? What is your breathing like? When you think about this event, or when you think back to the memory of this event, how was my breathing back then when this thing happened? Pay attention to it. Then pay attention to your thoughts. Are they slow? Are they very fast? Are there just a few of them? Is there a million of them? Then pay attention to your body. Do you have any sensations there when you think about this moment that made you very anxious? Or if you have a memory of it, like, okay, I remember this is how I felt when I went through this. What is going on in your body? Did you have any of these sensations that I mentioned before? Jitters, fast heart rate, pain somewhere, hands shaking, head spinning, any of these? And then I want you to feel, what are you feeling? What is the emotion or the emotions that you're feeling as you bring to mind this thing that happened? Or if these emotions aren't the same right now, you can think back, okay, I felt really what? What did you feel? Okay, and we did this to kind of map out where you are when you're anxious. What are the sensations? How do you know that you're anxious? And so that now after the exercise, we can compare and see how you're feeling after we are finished. Okay, and what we're going to do now is we're going to tense up our whole entire body, right? So you can stay seated, and I want you to make a fist with your hands. I want you to squeeze your face muscles, tense up your shoulders, your abs, your quads, your glutes, everything. And squeeze everything really hard for about 20 seconds, and go now. And I tell you when to release. Just keep squeezing, tensing up everything in your body. Squeeze a little bit longer. And let go. Okay? Exhale, let go, and relax. We do it 2 more times. Here we go. And start. squeezing everything as hard as you can, from the top of your head to your feet. Squeeze all your muscles, including your face. Stay here for another 5 seconds. And release. You should feel a little bit of release even now already from this. But we're going to do this one more time. Ready and go. Squeeze, tighten, tense everything up. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Don't forget your face. Keep going. And last 3 seconds. And release. Okay, awesome. Next, stand up. If you can, you could do this seated, but it's much better if you can do it standing. So after you stand up, I want you to start shaking your hands, right? If you're seated, do it seated. Shake your hands, then shake your arms, shake your shoulders, and shake your whole entire body as hard as you can, right? Shake, 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 shake. Go. We're going to do that for 1 minute. And you can stomp your feet at the same time. You can bounce around a little bit. The goal is to get the energy moving because your anxious energy wants to be released. So keep going. Shake, 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 jump, bounce, stomp. All of these high energy movements. And go for it. Okay? Just let it all out. We're not trying to get calm immediately. That'll come later. Now is the time to express. Express what your body has been wanting to express. That's why it's jittery. It wants to express this. Okay, 20 more seconds. You can just keep going here. And last 10 seconds. All right, we're almost done. Last couple of shakes and rest. Okay, you can sit down now. Very good. Now, notice how you feel. We are not done yet, but we are done with the more intense part, which is designed exactly to release, get this intensity out. What we're going to do now is we're going to give ourselves a hug so that we're going to put our left hand in our right hand in our left armpit and left hand on the shoulder. And then we're going to curl forward a little bit. You're just going to give yourself a little hug here and then just sway or rock from side to side. And breathe really calmly. Relax here. You can close your eyes. That often feels comfortable. Stay here for a little bit longer. Just feel what it's like to give yourself a self-hug. And release. Okay, good job. Now, what we're going to do next is we're going to give ourselves a little neck massage. And what we are targeting here is our vagus nerve. So this is a very important nerve in our body that is responsible for getting us to a relaxed and calm state. The way you find this nerve is when you turn your head to one side and then you feel the side of your neck and just the area behind your ear. And there should be a pretty thick muscle that's kind of popping out. So I want you to locate that on both sides. So turn your head one way, find the muscle. Turn your head the other way, find the muscle. And then we're going to start massaging this area up and down. So we start from around your ears and come all the way down and then back up again. And just massage this area. And breathe really calmly. Stay relaxed here. And see what it feels like. Let your belly out. If you're holding your belly in tight, let that out. So your body is relaxed and we're targeting that area behind our ears. You can use your left hand on the left side of your neck and right on the right, or you can do cross. It doesn't matter. Just whatever is more comfortable. And just breathe here. All right. Good. Take a little break. And now we're going to make a V with our peace fingers. If you're not watching, if you're listening only, then you just make a peace sign, right? And then you're going to place your middle finger in front of your ear and your pointer at the back of your ear. And now you're just going to massage around the ear and apply a little bit of pressure. So again, we're targeting that vagus nerve. So just massaging like that, up and down, while breathing in a really relaxed way. Letting the body be relaxed. Everything's nice and loose. Nothing's tensed up. And breathe. Let's do one or two more. And relax. All right, we're going to do two more things. The first one is where we're going to place our right hand on the left shoulder, left hand on the right shoulder. And we're going to come down from the shoulders all the way to our wrist by squeezing our arms a little bit. So at the top of your shoulder, give yourself a little squeeze, then move like half an inch down, squeeze, move down, squeeze, move down, squeeze. And just keep going like this. You reach your elbows. And then you're going to keep going down. You're going to reach your wrists. And this is, again, it's like a form of self-hug. And then once you reach your wrists, you're going to start going back up until you reach your shoulders again. Okay. Relax. And then the last thing we do, you're going to just place your one hand on your chest. And we do the way of breathing where you inhale for 4 and exhale for 6. Okay? So I'm going to count and inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Twice more. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One more. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right, release the arm, the hand, and just take a note of how you're feeling right now. Okay, and take a look at the same things that we checked in before we started. We looked at your breath. How's your breath? We looked at your heart rate. How is that? Has it slowed down? Is it more relaxed? We looked at your emotions. How have those changed? We looked at the pace of your thoughts. Is there less thoughts now? Are they moving a little slower? And we looked at your sensations. Before, you probably had some jitteriness, dizziness, heart racing. Have these things dropped? Does your overall body feel more calm now? Do you feel more present in this moment? Okay, so this was an example of how you can reduce your anxiety in a matter of minutes. We did a little bit of longer version here, but you can pick some of these exercises and do them separately too. But it's important that we start with something that is more intense when we are feeling very anxious, because we want to meet ourselves where we're at. So if we have this high vibration, dizzy, buzzy thing going on, then we want to shake that out and release that. And then we come back to soothing. So this is one way how you can work with your anxiety immediately. And you get pretty quick relief. And I'm sure that you did get some relief from what you felt before. Okay. And these types of exercises are very good if you're feeling like, I don't know how to handle this. This is too much. I'm going crazy. Just pick something like this and then do it and see what has changed for you after that. Now, we cannot, of course, not talk about the other things that are causing us anxiety, because if you only keep fixing this anxious feeling, then we have to continue to keep fixing it all the time, because the underlying causes are still there, right? So we're work on those underlying causes as well. If you have anxiety often, and now you have chronic sensations too. So this is the mind part, right? We talked about the body, we did the body exercise, and now we're going to talk about the part of your mind. How can you regulate yourself there, right? What can you do there? And of course, there are so many lifestyle factors that contribute to our anxiety. Like the pace of life that we're living in, it's quite crazy, I gotta say. So many people have so much on their plate, so many responsibilities, so many things to do, running around like doing one thing after another and never catching a break. Now, if you do just these bodily exercises that we just did, they will help you in the moment and very effectively, but then you go back to your high stress lifestyle and nothing really changes, right, in long term. So we have to take a look at our lifestyle factors too. And some of these things that are very obvious are, of course, your diet, your exercise, your sleep, your exposure to daylight, sun. Are you getting these things? So I don't want to go into super long details about all of these things right now, but I'm going to briefly mention a couple of things. And I also want to say here that when I talk about nutrition, exercise, and know exactly what I'm talking about, if you're like, does she even know? Yes, I do, because I have been a nutrition coach for 5 years and personal trainer for 10 years. So these things are so important for your well-being. And one of the things when it comes to food is what I used to see a lot when I was working with women, especially when they had the body composition goal, was always I'm going to avoid breakfast. I'm going to starve myself as long as I can. And in the evening, I can't anymore. And then I just binge. Now, this is a recipe for really bad nervous system dysregulation. And also, if somebody's trying to lose weight with this approach, usually going to backfire. Now, we want to eat a healthy, protein-rich breakfast in the morning. And protein-rich doesn't mean just adding one egg to your toast. You need a lot more. And again, I have done so many episodes here on nutrition previously. So if you want to check out those, go ahead. There's literally a huge library on nutrition. But protein-rich breakfast, early when you wake up, within an hour or two, you should definitely have that, and eat regularly throughout the day. Definitely not a big fan of those super long fasts for women especially. Now, exercise. Are you getting outside and are you walking every day? And are you lifting some heavy weights? These things are very, very regulating for the nervous system if they're done correctly. In fact, just today, before I started recording this episode, I talked to a woman who has been in my nutrition coach for a very long time now, and she says that I still cannot believe how much exercise has benefited me. And I used to run to get a massage if my neck got tight because I was so stressed from work. And now I go to the gym and I literally feel how overhead presses like heal me in a way that they just make me more aligned. They bring out my strength. They challenge me in a way that's good for my body. And she says that I can handle my stress so much better since I started working out. And she is not always very consistent. She cannot always get to the gym 3 times a week because she has a lot of other responsibilities, but she says that I'm still so glad that I have this exercise habit at least somewhat consistently, and I'm doing it all the time, and it just really, really helps me. Now, sleep, of course, is important. It is a difficult topic, has been a difficult topic for me too, having struggled with insomnia for so many years. But understanding that this too was definitely related to dysregulated nervous system. But sleep, like do what you can to improve your sleep quality. What are the things that work for you? Maybe you need to sleep in a cooler room. Maybe it has to be darker. So if you haven't done these things yet, definitely take a look at those things and try to get decent hours. At least 7 would be definitely good. But again, I want to say that this is a little bit difficult topic because a lot of times people are like, I want to sleep, I do everything right, but I just don't sleep. And this was me too until I discovered the power of regulating your nervous system. But if you're not doing the basic things yet, right, such as keeping your room cool and dark, this is where you have to start, and don't stare at those screens super late at night. And one more thing is outside. Are you getting outside? You guys, this is so important. Even if you have bad TMS right now and you're like, I'm so stuck and I can't do this and I can't do that, and getting outside is a dream and I can't walk. You can even just go and sit outside for a little bit, like sunlight and even just daylight. Even if you don't have sun there where you live, it is so critical for your healing. You have to get outside and just look outside into nature. You know how powerful it is to let your eyes relax on something that's far away? This is highly regulating for the nervous system too. So you just look out the window. I'm looking out the window right now and see what's the furthest thing I can see. And there's some trees and some rooftops that I can see from here. And when you soften your gaze and stare out into the really far spot, you can do this perfectly outside. And this is very, very healthy for you. We can talk also, of course, caffeine. Like if you're drinking too much coffee, that can make you feel really anxious. There are a lot of things like that. But you know what's also interesting? Like a lot of people are tracking their sleep with these, Oura rings and whatever's, and making sure that they get all their exercise. But they never think that what's also important is what happens like internally, such as how I'm showing up in my life, and what are my emotions like when I feel on a regular basis? What are the personality traits that are driving my decisions and actions, how I show up in life? A lot of people don't pay attention to any of that. However, these things are huge contributors to your anxiety. If you are not showing your emotions, if you push them down, if you have these personality traits that are serving others more than they're serving you, then these are massive causes of your anxiety. And I want to give you some examples here. Okay, so for example, if you are a person who is a perfectionist, do you know how much anxiety you are creating inside of you? And perfectionism, of course, was once a helpful coping mechanism. Maybe it helped you to get the love and respect that you wanted and needed, but now it's not that helpful anymore because it actually puts you in prison in a sense, because now you're pushing yourself to the max all the time to get everything perfect. And therefore you're putting your nervous system on such a high alert so that eventually you crash and burn because you just can't do anymore, right? So this is just as impactful contributor to your anxiety as not sleeping well enough or drinking too much caffeine, because it stresses you in a very similar way. Do you see that connection here? Right? Perfection is pushing myself so hard. I have to get everything perfectly right, and if I got something wrong, I'm gonna be a total bitch to myself because I deserve to be mean to myself. No, this is not how we want to live, because this is more anxiety on an already anxious person. Another example would be if you just cannot say no and you cannot stand up for your needs. And if that's why you're taking on too many responsibilities and way too many, like way more than what your system can handle and design for, then this is also a big cause of your anxiety. But it can be hard to accept because you almost thrive on other people's praise and hearing that, oh my God, I can't understand how you do all these things. You're so amazing. And I heard that too so many times. I heard it all the time. Oh my God, you do all these workouts and you wake up so early and you barely sleep and you're in this business and blah, blah, blah. I used to hear that too. And then inside I was so tired, so fatigued and burnt out. And you might be feeling the same way. I'm doing all these things and I'm getting all this praise from other people. But the truth is that I don't freaking even recognize myself. Because remember, like we talked earlier, if you let this go on and on and on, you're going to wake up one day there's no joy here. Everything just feels flat and boring and another day. So this is where you end up if you are always, doing everything for other people. You can't say no. You spread yourself so thin. So do you see how these old habits and coping mechanisms are actually not serving you at all, right? The other thing, people pleasing, right? So it creates a lot of anxiety because you're always worried about how you are being perceived by others. So you always make sure that everybody else thinks that, oh, she's so good, she's so awesome. You cannot afford to have anybody think anything negative about you. You're people pleasing so hard that you are taking down your posts on social media if one person said one negative thing. But this is not helpful for you. If you're people pleasing so hard that you're letting like the wind blows and you just go with it, it's just not how it works. So you have to understand that you actually suffer from it if you have this people pleasing nature. And there's a lot of shame in this, which is a big topic in my Emotionally Fit course. This is all coming from shame, right? The shame is telling you, oh, you're not good enough. Oh, other people's opinions are better, more valuable, more important than yours. So you're not good enough. You have to keep pleasing others and letting others tell you what to do. And this is all just like a big pile of anxiety. There's just so much anxiety. And in addition to these personality traits and like thinking all the time, what will they think? Do they like me? Do I get everything done? Am I perfect? Not enough. You may also have a lot of other emotions, not just anxiety, that you're likely trying to avoid and not show, right? And that again adds to chronic pain because you are not yourself if you do all that stuff. Let me give you a couple of examples here. So you probably avoid anger because you think that it's so bad to be angry. I should not be angry. Oh no, right? Or maybe you had a bad example growing up. The only way you saw anger was processed was just by yelling, shouting, throwing things. Maybe that's your experience. And now you're like, no, I'm not angry. And I'm not angry. But you don't understand that you actually have to express your anger. And you probably are sometimes angry because all humans are angry sometimes, right? Another thing that you're avoiding probably is like when you're hurt, when you're somebody hurt you and you're not saying anything. So somebody's treating you poorly and you just like swallow this pain and you say that, oh, it's okay. And at the same time, the pain starts coming out as a physical sensation now because you actually were hurt, but you said, no, it's fine, right? Or maybe you're sad about something, but you always cover it up by putting on the mask of I'm tough. Because the last thing you want is someone to see your sadness and thinking that you're weak or needy or something else. Or maybe you are that person who thinks that, oh, I have to be positive all the time, because I feel like this is the message you often hear, like, no, be positive all the time, be positive all the time. So you just bypass your emotions. If you're hurt, if you're sad, if you're angry, you just bypass all that and you just jump right into gratitude, like, oh, somebody else has it way worse than me and I don't want to be ungrateful, so I'm super grateful and everything's absolutely fine. And no, I'm not mad at you that you didn't show up and didn't even let me know. And no, I'm totally okay working like 150 hours a week. Like things like that. Like you're covering things up and you're going right into gratitude and you are not dealing with this emotion. And that's more burden on your body and your nervous system. So your nervous system is what we're talking about here, right? So you might be living your life covering up everything that you truly feel. Like you try to push down your anxiety, make it look like it doesn't exist. You just think that, all the other emotions are bad too. I'm not supposed to show them. All this is just pushing you more into this hole of more anxiety and more chronic sensations, right? So if you want to understand what you can do about this, if you want to start coming out of it, then this is why I created this program that I mentioned in the beginning of this episode, which is Emotionally Fit, and that is still on sale until Wednesday evening. And in this program, we go through some of the exercises that I taught you today. There are more variations, right? Some of the exercises that help you to reduce anxiety and fear and anger quickly from the body, but also we're going underneath all that and seeing how can you work with your mind. How can you work with those personality traits that are truly not serving you anymore, even though they did once? How can you open up to your emotions and bring them up and let them do their thing, which, by the way, is nothing scary. When emotions do their thing, they come, they stay for about a couple of minutes, and they leave if you allow it. So I'm going to teach you exactly how to do that processing and what are some of the tools that can help you to process them even more effectively so that you can get lasting relief. So I really encourage you to check out everything about my course Emotionally Fit. The link is in the show notes in bio, and I also my Instagram bio. And I also want to read to you a couple of comments that I've gotten from people who have taken this course before, and I'm going to do this right now because there are some really powerful things here. So somebody says, thank you for creating this course and for all the other ones of yours that I've taken. You have helped me to respond to years of repressed emotions in a way that I didn't get when I just read through Sarno's books or even did journal speak. Okay, so Sarno's books, Dr. John Sarno, if you're not familiar, maybe you are, maybe you're not, but he was the guy who started talking about how emotions cause chronic pain in the body. And journal speak is a method from Nicole Sachs. She's famous. She's really known for that, like journaling the emotions out. But this person says that she didn't get the same level of relief from these two resources that she did from my course, Emotion It Fits. So this is really, really cool to hear. Another one is this. I used to apologize if I teared up or showed emotions, but now I'm just embracing it. So she had a situation where, I can't go into detail with that, sharing that, but basically she opened up and she said, yes, tears came up and now I'm just embracing it. It's totally fine. She also said, I felt free to be vulnerable and express my emotions in the conversation. And this is a big win. I used to view it as a flaw to feel things deeply, but now I see it as a superpower. Yes, it is. And if you are a highly sensitive person, you probably are familiar with this. You do feel things more intensely. And think about it, like if you actually do feel things intensely and you push them down, this is not good for your nervous system at all. And that's why you are, again, in more pain. Another comment I've seen is this. I just started your course and now I truly understand how to really name my emotions, sit with them and feel them, not resist them as they become bigger. It's scary, but that's the only way because I need to feel them to heal. She also says, I didn't realize how much resisted and pushed down anger I had before. So these are some really, really powerful comments, and I just wanted to share some of them with you because I think they can truly help you see how important it is to release these emotions and give them some space, right? And I want to read to you one more if I can find it. Okay, one of them is here. I had a big emotional breakthrough this morning thanks to Emotionally Fit. I was feeling the anxiety coming back and decided to sit with it and let it flow, to see what emotions and thoughts it brought up. I sat and felt grief, rage, and fear. They all rolled in waves through my body. I sobbed for grief of losing my dad and so on. So I won't get into more details with that. But again, feeling this emotion, that's literally how we do it in this course. It's not bypassing it. It's not like, let's say 1,000 positive affirmations. No, that's not gonna help truly anybody. You have to feel them. And one more I want to read to you. I've had so many realizations about how and why the TMS started in me and why I chose chronic fatigue syndrome to manifest after so many years. I literally couldn't handle being responsible for anyone else, even myself. I had rage at my dad and my mom. I've been feeling so much heaviness in my chest, and now I have allowed it and accepted it. And I felt like I released it after all these years. So there you go. So I hope that you check out this course again until Wednesday, which is November 6th. It is on sale. There are 2 bonuses. Number 1, the bonus is that you get 15% off the course. You don't have to actually use any codes. The code is already applied. And the second bonus is that you're going to get a PDF and a video guide with 3 simple nervous system regulation techniques that help you to go from anxious and jittery to calm and present in less than 5 minutes. So you will find this new and special guide inside the course as soon as you log in. And if you already own the course, then take a look at the first chapter there. It is added to that chapter. Okay, thank you so much for being here. Let me know how this anxiety exercise went for you. I would love to hear from you, and I'll talk to you again very soon. Take care. Thank you so much for being here today. And once again, don't forget to check out my course, Emotionally Fit, if today's episode spoke to you. You will find all the tools that you need to start recognizing and expressing your emotions in a healthy way and moving closer to recovery from chronic sensations. Sign up before November 6th to get your 15% discount and 3 nervous system regulation practices. You don't have to use any code to get these bonuses. Your 15% discount is applied already.